So there it is, everyone. It's finally here. So it's been a really long day. The guys have just left. We've had some really good conversations. I've had a lot of people from Octopus Energy here who have been telling me all about the app and the relationship with the Quasar and how it's all going to work together, and a few things about what to expect from the trial, which is, it's a massive download, basically. But suffices to say, there has been a huge amount of work that has gone into just getting us to this point. The G100 device, which I'll put some photos in over this video, is quite a substantial piece of equipment, and that is purely there to limit the combined export of energy from the car and from the solar array. And they're limiting that at 8 kilowatts, which is a little bit more than I first thought it would be. The idea is that if that device wasn't attached to this house right now, the combined total of the energy coming off of the roof, from the solar panels and from the car, in a kind of worst case scenario, so very sunny day, both of those devices exporting, we could have exported up to 10 kilowatts of electricity out onto the grid, and that was something that UK Power Networks, for whatever reason, thought wasn't really going to work for them, and they were concerned about the other local generation that we have here. Lots of other people have solar panels on their roofs, and so potentially there could be some damage done to the local transformer here. Now, what that's really meant for me as a trialist is that I have a lot, and I mean a lot, of electronics now next to my consumer unit in my utility room. Now, I don't mind that. I'm perfectly happy to go along with the trial and all of that. But I think for most people, when you see it, brace yourselves, because it is a lot. Now, if you have a utility cupboard or something like that and it's all hidden away, then fine. Unfortunately, the position of mine is in the utility room. We don't look at it very often, but clearly it's all on display. Now, I'm hoping that actually through this trial and through all of the work that's going on with this trial, that once it actually becomes a consumer proposition for just anyone to go and use, then the packaging, if it's even necessary at all, will be much neater. I say whether it's needed at all because actually, if we didn't need any of that current limiting equipment, then the installation would have been a lot more modest inside the house, and the charge point and potentially the pen fault protection device would have been the only things that would have been needed to be installed. The pen fault protection device, by the way, is a device that lots of chargers need just in case there's a fault in the local grid, which means that you might not have the earth protection. And obviously, if you don't have earth protection, then you may actually get electrocuted if you touch your car whilst the car's charging and there's this fault condition in the network. Now, there's only one device on the market right now, which is the new Zappi unit, which has that internally. The wall box unit doesn't have that internally, so we need an extra device to make that safe and in compliance with the current regulations. Interestingly, the regulations that existed when we had our other Zappi installed, actually that didn't require those regulations. So those, we've got kind of two setups here now. So looking at all the electronics that's gone into making this trial possible, it gives you an idea about how much this all must have cost. And I think we're probably looking at upwards of £10,000 for the Quasar unit, which is not a cheap charger. Then the G100 device and the Mati device, and then the installation costs, the labour for the two guys that spent all day in my house rewiring everything. So there's a significant amount of investment that's going in by Octopus Energy and the partners to looking and seeing if this stuff's really going to work. Now, this is day one. I have not really, apart from testing the car with the folks here and making sure that the charger charged and the charger also reverse powered the out to the grid. We're really only just getting to grips with with the installation and making sure everything is good. Over the next few days, we'll be getting the apps up and running, making sure that the apps are going to work, that there's connectivity there, and that we're setting the schedules and my preferences so that when I need the car, it has the amount of energy in it that I need, and when it's plugged in an evening situation, that it then starts to contribute towards the grid in line with the scheduling that's been set based on the demand that's happening out on the grid. So it's early days. Hopefully we will have a smooth experience now. It's been a really long wait, so I'm really excited that it's all finally here. I hope you are too. I hope you get a lot out of watching these videos. Don't be put off by the amount of equipment that is in my home. That's why it's called a trial. This is essentially a prototype arrangement, so a lot of the things that you'll see here, including the charger, by the way, by the time this kind of proposition comes to the market, it'll almost definitely have a different connector, because CHAdeMO isn't going to really be a thing anymore, I don't think. Certainly in Europe, it'll probably be CCS. So, you know, there's a lot of things that will change between now, as I'm trialing it right now, and when it becomes something that any consumer can consume. And that will probably include the technology that's being used to limit the supply out to the grid. If the car electronics was more intelligent, then some of that equipment might not even be required. If the grid is upgraded, some of that equipment might not be required. There's 101 ways to solve these problems in a different way. But, you know, for the purposes of the trial and what they need to get out of it and the information that everyone is looking for, that's the way they've just chosen to go for this trial. So, like I say, if you kind of think, oh my God, I'm never going to have that in my house, then, you know, you probably actually won't ever end up having this kind of installation in your house. If it doesn't bother you, I'm sure they're looking for other trialists, so reach out to them. If this is the kind of exciting thing that you think you'd want to get involved with, I'm certainly going to be really excited to see how our energy consumption changes, how the car starts to contribute to our home energy supply, and, you know, how much reliance we then don't need on the grid. So, you know, thanks for watching. Hopefully this is, you know, just the start of you know, my learning journey on this technology, and hopefully it kind of informs you as to, you know, what to expect from such a technology in the future, and also some of the benefits or perceived benefits and the reality. I don't know how this is going to play out, but thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and stay tuned, and we'll see what happens in the next one.